Welcome to Pocono Raceway for the Exalta We Paint Winners 400 miles around the Tricky Triangle in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, a challenge for these 35 drivers. Let's take a look at the drivers to watch for today. Toyota's on the front row, Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch. Both have been very strong at this racetrack in the past. Can they win today? Jimmie Johnson, he won NASCAR's longest night. Can he win at the Tricky Triangle, a place where he didn't do so good last year? And then Jamie McMurray and Casey Kane, 12th and 13th qualifying efforts respectively. Can they do well today? Let's go trackside for the command.
Marshals, Exalta Senior Vice President Joe McDougall and Julia and Alyssa McDougall.
On behalf of Exalta's 14,000 employees around the world, we're happy to say,
drivers, start your engines!
And the cars roll off of pit road. We'll take a look at our Exalta starting lineup. On the front row, it's the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. and the 18 of Kyle Busch. In row 2, it's Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. Row 3, two guys haven't won this year, Joey Logano and Matt Kenseth. And in row 4, Brad Keselowski and Jimmie Johnson. Row 5, Kurt Busch and Chase Elliott. And in row 6, two good qualifying efforts for Ryan Blaney and Jamie McMurray. Row 7, Casey Kane next to Kyle Larson. And row 8, Clint Bowyer and Dale Jr. In row 9, it's Ryan Newman and Daniel Suarez. And in row 10, Austin Dillon next to Michael McDowell. Row 11, Eric Jones and Talladega winner Ricky Stenhouse. In row 12, it's Danica Patrick and Paul Menard. Front row teammates in row 13, David Reagan, Landon Castle. And in row 14, AJ Allmendinger and Chris Buescher. Trevor Bayne next to Regan Smith back in the 43. And then it's Ty Dillon and Matty D. Corey LaJoie and Ryan Sieg in the second to last row, and rounding out the field is Greg Golding in the 23. Lowe's Race Facts, Stage 1 and 2, 50 laps each, Stage 3, 60 laps. The whole race is 160 laps, and last year's winner was Matt Kenseth. Green flag in the air, we're racing in the Poconos. Through turn 3, Kyle Busch trying to get to the bumper of Martin Truex Jr., but it'll be MTJ who leads lap 1. As Truex tries to get around those two. One car hard on the wall, up in flames is Chris Buescher, and he'll bring out the caution with 2 to go in stage 1. 3 laps to go. But man, a huge fire on the 37 of Chris Buescher, and here come the safety workers. They're going to put out the fire. And let's take a look at what happened to Chris Buescher. Just looks like either a right front or looks like he had no brakes. And we're hearing over the radio Chris Buescher had no brakes, and that's why the car just erupted in flames after it hit the wall. Thank goodness he climbed out of the car quickly. And this will probably mean the end of stage 1, and see Buescher, that will end his day. The Daytona 500 champion's not had a good season since, but we're under the red flag for cleanup. But like we said, that will end the stage, which will mean Martin Truex Jr. will win his 3rd stage of 2017. And here are your stage results. Kyle Busch, who finished 2nd in all 3 stages in the Coke 600 last week, finishing 2nd again. And Martin Truex Jr. will win stage 2. And a good start for the 78 team, sweeping the stages here in Pocono, a place where he's done really well in the past. Joey Logano coming up second. Kyle Busch has to pray for something not like that to happen. Around goes Landon Castle, and that will bring out the caution. And that was the last thing Kyle Busch wanted to see. And let's take a look what happened in the 34. It's on the inside of Allmendinger into the tunnel turn. Looks like this got loose. The air really tight in the tunnel turn. Strategy pays off. Jimmy Johnson wins in Pocono. And the decision to go for 2 tires put the 48 in the lead, and he was able to hold off Kyle Busch for the race win. The first back-to-back winner of the season. Jimmy Johnson will do his burnouts, and we'll take a look at the finishing results. Kyle Busch came up so close of a victory. A lot of good names. Look at Ryan Newman with a good finish, finishing 7th in the 31. Good finishes for McMurray, Casey Kane getting a top 15. Danica Patrick even getting 19th. Not a bad finish for her. And then here's the third page. See Brad Keselowski and Eric Jones. They got speeding penalties late, so they couldn't work their way through the traffic. And here's the last page. Chris Buescher, the only DNF of the race. Let's take a look at the points. Kyle Busch still leads it, but the most playoff points is Kyle Larson, but he's 4th in points today, finishing 14th. Did not help the 42 in the standings. As you see, all the guys who are currently above the cut line but do not have a win yet, and then these guys who are still in playoff contention up to Ryan Newman. Michael McDowell's the first guy in a must-win situation currently, but there's still, I believe, 12 races left to the regular season. And after next week will be 11. We go to Dover for the AAA of Drive for Autism 400. Hope you enjoy this presentation on America's Sports Coverage.